Warning: some stories may be disturbing for some audiences. Viewer discretion advised. Welcome, thank you for coming. Subscribe and like for more stories. Males of Reddit, what's your creepy girl story? My first GF had a rough home life, and when I tried to break up with her she said she would kill herself, so I backpedaled. This happened multiple times until one of her friends confided in me that she bragged about it to her because she hates being single, and was trying to date other people until he was replaced before breaking up with him. Teenage me talking to a girl a year below. We used to play Neopets together, and one day she sent me a rose with her blood on it. She came to school the next day with a bandage on her wrist. Blocked her number because she would text me every day when I refused to reply anymore after telling her I didn't want to talk. 2 years later I unblocked it out of curiosity, and she is still texting me daily. I sure hope I never run into her in person again. Edit: just woke up to see this blew up. Guess it's time to unblock her number to see if she sends a text today. Edit 2, there it is boys. Another text. Oh boy, it all started in elementary school, when this weird girl took a liking to me. She'd follow me around at recess, and if I wanted a recess to myself, I'd have to outrun her, and lose her. Kept me in shape. She was a year or two ahead of me, and as soon as she was able, she'd be a teacher's assistant in my class when she could. She'd be watching me from across the room, and would pass notes to me asking if I'd marry her when I grew up. She also came to my mom's house a few times, and left notes on the windowsill. Fast forward to high school, where we landed in the same film arts class. I was usually a cameraman, but when I was in the editing room, there she'd be. She had a face like the man in the moon, round, blank, and gave you the sense that you might look out your window one night, and see it looking back in at you. She'd be ogling me from across the room, inching her chair closer, and complimenting me on virtually everything. She likes my clothes, jewelry, hair, and eventually, she wants to kiss me, and date me. I was an awkward teenager, so I just dropped lots of hints that I wasn't interested, which she either didn't understand or just didn't give a damn. One day, she basically cornered me in a doorway, and said she was going to kiss me. I was in such a position that I could only either take the kiss or physically push her away from me. I didn't know how to react at the time, so I pretty much did a combination of both. Another day, I was biking to school, and she was sitting at the base of a telephone pole at the end of my street, looking at me as if she was expecting me to come that way. I thought it through, and realized that she must have followed me home from school, then gotten up at the crack of dawn, come back to my street, and waited to see when I'd be leaving. This happened a few times, and I didn't tell anyone, because I thought my family would make fun of me. We've both been out of school for a few years, and she hasn't given up yet. She's found me on Facebook, and messaged me a few times, saying she's tired of being single, and would I ever date her. I've rejected her as clearly as I can, and I hope it sticks. She definitely has autism or something, and maybe she just can't let go of the childhood crush, or can't process rejection. I hope she gets the help she needs. What was really infuriating was when I went to my family for advice. They were all like, "Aw, she likes you, and you should give her a chance. We need to teach our sons and daughters that stalking people is not okay." So, here's a creepy picked up by a girl story. I was in a bar, having a beer, and this girl starts talking to me. She seems okay, but the bar's dark, hard to tell. She asks me if I want to go out to her truck and smoke a joint. I say yes. When we wander out of the bar, the bright lights outside illuminate her face in a disturbing way. I ignore what I am seeing. She says, "So where's your car?" I say, "I thought we were going to your truck?" She says, "No, we are going to your car." Okay, I can deal with this. We get to my car, and she says, "Where's the joint?" I say, "I thought you had a joint." She says, "No, take me home." Okay, I can deal with this. So, I start driving her home. As I am driving, she starts rambling. "You can F me, you can screw me, you can do anything you want to me." Okay, maybe I can deal with this. As we approach her apartment she says, "I sure hope my boyfriend isn't home." Oh, F. Can I deal with this? She points to a convenience store, and says, "Pull in there, and go buy me a 12-pack of beer." I say, "I'm not buying you a 12-pack. So, she gets out of the car to buy beer. I definitely cannot deal with this, slam the car into reverse, and race off into the night. I didn't go back to that bar for a year. Creepy girl. She wasn't invited, but tagged along with friends who were, and came to my buddy's house for our friend's birthday party. We all got drunk, hopped, and pushed people into the pool, had a good old time. The next morning, my friend the birthday boy, Was awakened by this chick riding on top of him. She either played with his dick mildly enough to not wake, but just arouse him, or took advantage of his morning wood. But either way, she sleep raped my friend on his birthday, and proceeded to soak the couch in piss. This was one expensive effing couch, mind you, before leaving without saying a word. A week or so goes by, she is claiming she is pregnant, and needs abortion money. Friend reached out to our friend group for advice. Turns out she has been known to rape drunk guys, and in fact it happened to another friend of ours whom she also asked for abortion money. 4 years later she's got 3 DUIs, and nobody knows how many guys she has taken advantage of, or scammed out of fake abortion money. Went out once after being matched online. Didn't work out. She kept calling during dates with other guys, and asking them to tell me I was an idiot to pass her up. After no calls for a few months, she called crying, and asking me to tell her current BF that we didn't have sex. She put him on the phone, and he asked me directly. Of course the answer was no, we didn't, but he responded with, "Then why she always hitting you up?" I just hung up. She called 37 more times, but I didn't answer. Edit. I'm not even a catch. I didn't get another date for like a year after. She cheated on me with my friend when we were around 13. When I found out, she proceeded to lock herself into a bathroom at her Girl Scouts meeting, and carved my name into her arm with a knife. I dated this girl one summer during high school. She seemed nice enough, and we kind of hit it off at a church function. Until my summer schedule started. I went from working evening at a local fast food joint to working overnights, and I guess she couldn't cope. She would call my house, and accuse my mom of lying for me, and demand she tell her where I really was. She'd drive by all night, and would even wait for me to get home at 6 or 7, still in my work uniform, and accuse me of cheating. Eventually she'd start calling me every hour or so at work, which, as you can imagine, my managers just loved. She did not take the breakup well, threatening to kill herself. She threatened to kill me, and she threatened to kill my dog. When I started dating a coworker towards the end of the summer, she threatened her too. Girl stole my jacket, and made a shrine to me with manga-style drawings of her, and I making out. Dated a psycho who wanted to be with me 24/7. She started doing everything I did: dip, smoke, drink, soccer, watch hockey. One day when I meet her at her dorms, her wrists were wrapped in bandages. She had third-degree burns where she held salt and ice against her wrist. When I tried to end it, she said she was pregnant because she was bulimic, and would crap birth control right out. Then when I finally ended it, she showed up at my parents drunk, and started to cut her wrist with her car keys in the driveway. I should have known she was crazy. She was way more attractive than the girls I normally pull. New Year's a few years ago, at like 4 a.m. a girl called me asking to pick her up because she didn't like who she was with, as in she felt uncomfortable with them. So obviously I walked down to where she was, only a 10-minute walk. I was a little tipsy, and she was crazy drunk. I was trying to walk her home, and she insisted on sitting down, and the nearest place was where I was staying, at a friend's. So we get back, and sit on the couch, and she immediately starts cuddling me, and kissing me, and I try, and push her off me. But she's having none of it. Hastily undoes my belt. At this point she has most her weight on me, then tries to grab my dick, and I push her hand away. She then whispers, "Come on, you know you want me to," and goes for it again. I would immediately just shout stop. I say shout, but it wasn't really a yell, and more just a bit louder. She then proceeds to cry, saying I don't find her attractive, and gets really emotional, saying do I think she's fat, etc. I ask if she wants some water, and I go get her some. When I come back, she grabbed a razor blade out of her purse, and has cut her palm open, and she's shaking. I get a bandage-like thing from the kitchen, and we called a taxi to get her to A&E. I paid for the taxi, and haven't spoken to her since. Needless to say, it took me a while to get comfortable being alone with drunk people. For a while it shook me up more than I'd like. Lied about being married, and wore a ring on her ring finger as proof of being married, as a means of showing interest, and trying to provoke me to cuckold a man that doesn't exist. She also sent a text to someone else right in front of me where I could easily see, and clearly about me. It was about how he can't court a woman, in another attempt to provoke me to somehow be interested in her. Never mind the fact that she already made herself out to be a bullcrafter, and someone to avoid. She broke into my dorm room without me knowing, and stood over me while I slept. When I woke up, she invited me to a threesome. I noped the F out of there. Met a girl on Tinder. I invited her over to my place for a good old trip to Bone City. When she showed up, she began inserting meows into every other sentence, not replacing words with meow, but just meowing randomly in the beginning, middle, or end of sentences. I asked her what she was doing, and she claimed it's just a thing she does unconsciously. Right. Anyway, so she keeps meowing and saying just random crap, mixed in some "let me know if you can handle me." Most guys can't. It was only about 15 minutes in, and I just needed to get away, so I mentioned having to take my dog out. "Oh, I'll come with you." Damn it. No sooner than we open the door to let my pup out does she rock me with this horrifyingly awkward question. "So my feet smell pretty bad. What is something you're insecure about?" I'm dumbstruck. I started stuttering half sentences. "What the foo, I would just wow." She comes back with, "Well, don't make me feel bad," and again I'm just in complete bewilderment of how to respond to this person. "I didn't volunteer that information." "You did." "I absolutely don't want to have this conversation with you." Finally she says rather proudly, "I knew you couldn't handle me." And I would immediately reply, "You're right. You need to leave." She actually stopped, looked at me with tears in her eyes like I was joking, and I looked at her and said, "I am not. You should go." Well, she meows sadly, then tells me she left her purse inside. Awkward elevator ride up to my place, and I unlock the door and hand her her purse. She kinda hesitates in the doorway and yells, "You need to meow, give me another chance." And since I had an entire elevator ride to prepare for whatever she was going to say before she left, because come on, of course she'd try something, I replied with, "You need to leave right meow," closed the door in her face, and called building security. I guess it wasn't needed, but after the last 20 minutes, I wasn't leaving anything up to chance. Oh, my first blind date, set up by friends. I was 22, I can't remember if I had just graduated or was about to, so either late 21 or just turned 22. I pick her up because she doesn't drive. Find out she's a sophomore in college, my alma mater. Cool. I was surprised I'd never seen her before because it wasn't a large uni, and she was cute as hell. Fast forward maybe 2 or 3 hours, we just wrapped up dinner and a stroll in a park downtown. Everything went well, and we're walking to a comedy club. She is saying things really weird now, like how happy she is that she met someone like me, about the places she wants to honeymoon at, how many kids we'd have, and how beautiful they'd be if we were married. Now, she was a looker, and really fun to hang out with, but who talks about these kinds of things after knowing a person for several hours? Red flags. Cut later into the evening, and we're walking to the house I shared with a few roommates. Our place was maybe a block from the comedy club, college neighborhood. She stops me, and we make out for a bit. She is for real acting, and talking like we have been longtime lovers now. I make the decision to suggest I take her home. It's getting late, but she insists on coming home with me. I pocket dial my friend. "Oh, I'm getting a call." I play it like he needs me for something. He's all high, giggling and saying stupid crap as he realizes what must be happening. Now it turned for the worse in a big way. She gets angry, accusing me of being gay, and how she never should have come on this date, etc. So she storms off. Phew. 15 minutes later I am in my house laughing and chatting with my roommates about my date, and the back door opens. Guess who walks in? I knew it. She screams. Cue me trying to calm down this crazy girl while my friends are laughing and taking pictures. Eventually her friend comes and gets her. "Alicia, if you're out there, I hope you found love." We were 14, and she cut my initials into her wrist. Years ago I had a roommate whose fiancé abruptly ended their relationship. The few days after they ended it, she would show up to my work. I worked retail at the time, looking for me. At the time I wasn't sure why she kept trying to talk to me, but I never really liked her, and she really screwed my roommate up by ending the relationship with no explanation. I would constantly hide in the stockroom to avoid her, so she began waiting by my car for my shifts to end. I would usually wait it out until someone working would give me the all clear. But after a few days I lost my patience, and just decided to walk to my car. She was there. She confessed her love for me. I said no thanks, got in my car, and left. We randomly run into each other around town, and always make awkward eye contact before I realize it's her. Psycho classmate from freshman year. She was the first to approach me when she found out I was a journalism student back then, and having no friends yet I befriended her. As the semester went on, she got more and more annoying, even going as far as getting another SIM card, and making up this dude named Jordan just so we can talk about guy things. When I had enough, I decided to call this Jordan in the middle of class, and her phone rang. I went all hi Jordan on her, and she ran out the room. She even invited herself when I went out to the movies with my buds, buying herself a ticket, and crap. When we said we'd be going drinking on a different city, 45-minute drive away, she said she can't come, which was reassuring. When we got to our spot, she wasn't there, but still managed to effing blow my phone up with texts and crap saying "I miss you, I love you, you're the best," and I was like, this has got to stop. The following week at school, before she could even say anything, I would immediately told her, "You do know I'm gay, right?" "I really am," and she started crying in front of so many people like WTF is wrong with her. Her nuances dwindled little by little towards the end of the semester. I moved from journalism to hospitality the following term, and haven't heard from her since. Until like 2016, when she found out I broke up with my then BF. She started telling people how I cheated on my ex with her, like, "Girl, seriously." She finally stopped after one of my intensely annoying girl Y lady friends talked to her. Haven't heard from her since. Smiley face. Told my friend he should break up with his GF because she was threatening to kill herself and cheat over extremely petty stuff. He told her what I said, so she told her brothers that I said I was going to rape her. I had 3 of her brothers, all around 24 while I was 16, telling me they were going to kill me, and one of them even drove by my house with a gun pointed at me. I came here to see what guys consider crazy. Can now confirm I'm not crazy. Phew. Valentine's Day of my junior year of high school, 2 girls asked me out. One was super cute and timid, and I liked her a lot. The other had a boyfriend. After turning the second girl down, she went to her boyfriend and told him to beat me up because I was at fault for making her want to cheat on him. Her boyfriend apologized to me and broke up with her in the same sentence. We both received death threats from that girl for multiple weeks after that. I am not sure if this is creepy or just weird. When I was in my early 20s, I used to have real bad insomnia. I could easily still be up at 4 a.m. and still not feel tired. Anyways, this one night, must have been 1 or 2 a.m. I was just sitting at the computer looking online and stuff, trying to get sleepy, when there's this knock at the door. Pretty weird to get someone at the door at that time, but I figure maybe it's an emergency from one of my neighbors. On one side we had like a house where several people with Down syndrome lived with a carer of sorts, so I figured I should answer just in case. So anyway, I answer the door, and there's this random girl I'd never met and didn't recognize at all. She was dressed in everyday clothes, not like someone who'd been out to the pub or whatever, just jeans and a hoodie, and doesn't seem to be intoxicated in any way. She says she was told there was a party at my house, but I told her there wasn't. There was just me home alone trying to get tired enough to sleep. So she asks if she can use my phone, always wanting to believe the best in people. Before real adult cynicism set in, I invite her in and show her to the phone. She kind of dials numbers, which looked more like she pushed numbers at random and waited for someone to answer. Note, I have no idea if she actually called someone or if it was an act. After about 10 minutes of this, she gives up and claims she is actually homeless. Now, not to try and stereotype or anything, but her appearance didn't suggest she'd been sleeping rough at all. Her clothing was casual style, but not grubby, frayed or worn out in any way, so I was kind of suspicious. But okay, I Googled the nearest shelter, and there was one about a mile away, certainly walking distance, so I agreed to walk her there. It was the middle of the night after all. On the walk she starts trying to hold my hand, stroke my arm, that kind of thing, until we get to the end of the street where the shelter was. She says she's in love with me, and we should go back to my place, etc. I'd known her for less than an hour, and never talked to her or seen her before that night, so I'm a little freaked out, and tell her I'm not interested, and that I'm seeing someone. An obvious lie, since I'm home alone looking at video game forums at 2 a.m. on a Friday night. Lol. I point down the street, and tell her the shelter is down that way, and that I need to go home now. She finally leaves me, but walks off in the complete opposite direction, and I just walk home by a different route, in case she followed me, hoping she might have forgotten which way we came. I was mostly just confused, not really as creepy as other stories here, but it sticks out as one of the creepier experiences I've had with a girl. Never saw or heard from her again. TLDR, random girl knocks on my door in the middle of the night, claims there's a party at my empty house, claims she is homeless, claims she loves me, and disappears into the night. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more stories delivered to you. Thanks for listening. See you later.